Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello, and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. Today, we are talking about your nutrition checklist. Now, this is a very broad and general recommendation and checklist. However, my guess is that 97% of you who listen to this can still follow it and be pretty on par with your nutrition and improving your overall health and wellness. Your bowel movements will likely be better. Your energy will likely be better. Whatever your goals are, you'll probably be a lot closer to them when it comes to your health and wellness goals. So this is your nutrition checklist. Now, the reason why I say it's general, but still helpful is because individually, your needs are going to vary based off of your age, your gender, your activity level, your health, what you're at risk for, or, what if you currently have any medical conditions. So like I said, this is more general. So if you've been instructed, otherwise, if you're working with a nutrition professional, listen to their advice, because if you're working with someone one-on-one, then they know you a lot better than I do in general. But this is just information that I thought you would be super helpful for you, that if you want to get kind of back to basics, or maybe you're trying to develop a foundation that is quite basic, it's going to be really helpful. So many people want to complicate nutrition, but it's really not that complicated. So today we're going to talk about your nutrition checklist. So we're going to go through all the different food groups and making sure that you're incorporating a little bit of each of them. And I'm going to give you instructions on how to do that. Okay. So the first thing we want to talk about is fruit, because I think most people find fruit, it's too high in sugar, it's too daunting, or whatever. Like, there's nothing wrong with eating fruit. We want to eat 2 to 3 servings of fruit a day. What is a serving? A serving is a medium-sized piece of fruit. So something like an apple, a pear, an orange, that is considered a serving. Now, if you have the smaller pieces of fruit, like kiwi or clementine, then that is considered, 2 of those is considered 1 serving. So 2 kiwis is 1 serving, 2 clementines is 1 serving. Now, if it's in a cup form, so a cup of berries, that is 1 serving. And if it's a larger piece of fruit, like a banana, then half of a banana is technically 1 serving. Now, I don't think you need to get too crazy with it, but the point is that if you are aiming for 2 to 3 servings of fruit a day, you could have a cup of berries, half of a banana, and a cup of grapes. And that's your 2 to 3 servings of fruit a day. That's going to give you lots of different nutrients, from vitamin C to the skin of the fruits. It's going to be nice and high in fiber. And there's also antioxidants in there to prevent things like certain cancers and other inflammatory conditions in the body. Okay, so fruits number 1. 2, veggies. Veggies. Veggies are super important. 4 to 5 servings of vegetables per day. So a serving is 1 cup of cooked vegetables or raw vegetables. But if it's a leafy green, say like kale or spinach or romaine lettuce, then the serving is going to be 2 cups of that. So 2 cups of leafy greens is 1 serving, or 1 cup of veggies is another serving, whether it's cooked carrots or raw carrots. The size doesn't really change too much. Now, with getting in 4 to 5 servings of vegetables a day, that sounds like a lot, but if you're using the plate method, which is something I incorporate very often, I teach my clients to incorporate, where you're making half of your plate non-starchy vegetables, then you do that at lunch, that's about 2 cups, and you do that at dinner, that's another 2 cups. That's going to be your 4 to 5 servings a day. So it's not that difficult to get. Now, why are vegetables important? Well, they obviously have tons of different nutrients, different vitamins and minerals, and they're also going to be high in fiber, and they're also very low in calories. They're very high in water, so they can, even fruit and vegetables can actually help with hydration. So super, super, super important to be getting 4 to 5 servings of veggies a day. Now, if you struggle with digestive issues and maybe you're prone to diarrhea, make sure that you cook your vegetables really well and you're not doing lots of raw veggies. Now, if you struggle with constipation, then you want to make sure that you are doing more of the cruciferous vegetables, more of the raw vegetables. So things like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, that's going to help aid in your bowel movements. Now, either way, as you increase your fruit and vegetables consumption, if you're currently, barely eating any fruit or barely eating any vegetables, or you're inconsistent with that, make sure that you're drinking enough water. As you increase your dietary fiber, it's going to be really uncomfortable. But if you do it slowly over time and you're making sure you're drinking water with it, that will be super helpful. So that leads to the next thing, which is your water. Make sure you're drinking about half your body weight in water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, half of your body weight would be 100 pounds, right? So half of your body weight would be 100 ounces of water per day. So that whole 8 cups of water every day, that varies based off of your body size. Now, this goes into greater detail based off of your activity levels and your gender and your fat to muscle mass ratio and all that stuff. But right now, once again, we're doing the basics. So take half of your body weight in water, and make sure you're drinking that every single day. So the reason why I wanted to create a checklist is because this checklist is, I want you to be able to go through this every day. Did you have 2 to 3 servings of fruit today? Check. Did you have 4 to 5 servings of veggies today? Check. Did you drink half your body weight in water today? Check. And we're going to talk about 2 more things. And if at the end of the day, you're able to do all of those check marks every single day for about 3 to 4 weeks, and you're still not seeing progress, then you can reach out to me and then we can talk. But my guess is that if you did those things for 4 to 5 weeks at a time, so give it a month of consistently most days out of the week, so 5 to 6 to 7 days out of the week, you're hitting all these things, and we know it doesn't have to be perfect. But if you're doing that consistently, you don't have to do any crazy fad diet, you don't have to do any crazy juice cleanse or restriction. You will feel really, 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 really good, and really, really empowered and really confident in your food choices, and just overall better, just so much better. And if you're not, then reach out to me because something's off, something's going on. But I think that if you just have this checklist with you and you keep it by you every day, you'll be more than okay. I actually think I have a PDF of this. I'm pretty positive I have a PDF of this. So I will leave it in the show notes for you. I leave it for my clients, but I will definitely leave it in my show notes for you so that you can print it out and kind of use it every day at your leisure. Okay, so 2 to 3 servings of fruit a day, 4 to 5 servings of veggies a day, half your body weight in water. Make sure you're incorporating healthy fats. So when I say a healthy fat, those that come from a plant-based source are going to be healthier. They're going to be higher in omega-3s. They're better for your heart. So things like olive oil is going to be better than butter. It's okay to use butter sometimes. It's okay to use, fats that are solid. So like animal fats, right? That's okay. However, we want to be mindful that you're trimming any visible fat if you are cooking. Try to choose like the leaner sources of protein, or if you notice like the fat on like the pork tenderloin or your sirloin steak or something like that, those are leaner cuts, but maybe you still trim any visible fat, or make sure you cook it with olive oil instead of butter as a way to incorporate your healthier fats. Maybe adding things like nut butters as your spreads, or hummus as your spreads, adding things like nuts and seeds to snack on, or putting, maybe chia seeds in your yogurt, or flax seeds in your smoothie, or in your oatmeal, stuff like that. Okay. So try to incorporate more healthy fats, and make sure at the same time, depending if you're, if it's just general health that you're aiming for, then the portion doesn't matter so much. But if you are working for weight management, then just be mindful of the portions of your fats that you use them sparingly. So with your oils, maybe measure it out so you don't go crazy with the cooking oil, and so that way your calories are within a normal range as well. Okay. And then, I've already talked about protein, I think ad nauseum at this point. Protein at every meal is super important. It's going to help with cravings. It's going to help with satiety. It's going to help with your energy, your immune system, your muscle mass, so your metabolism in the long run. So incorporating around 20 grams of protein at every meal is super beneficial. That number might be a little bit less or a little bit more, or a lot more, depending on your age, your gender, and your activity level. But getting protein at every meal is really going to help kind of bring it around and making sure that you're feeling satisfied throughout. So, and with that, I think what we just talked about with those healthy fats, choosing leaner sources of protein or even plant-based sources of protein are probably going to be more beneficial. A bonus checklist, fish 2 to 3 times a week. So something like fish, it has healthy fats in it, something like a salmon, for example, and it's also a good source of protein. So that might be something you want to incorporate on, about 2 to 3 times a week. And then the last, but definitely not least, we can't forget about our starchy whole grain carbohydrates, making sure that at least half of your grains are whole grain. So when you're choosing your breads, make sure that there's at least 3 grams of fiber per slice. Or if you're doing your grains, instead of doing something like farina, for example, or cream of wheat, the fiber might not be very high. So choose something like oatmeal instead. Maybe have quinoa instead of rice sometimes, or choose brown rice instead of white rice. The brown rice to white rice thing doesn't matter too much, to be honest. But if you can try something like a quinoa or a farro, those grains are going to be higher in fiber, higher in protein, and overall just going to be much more beneficial for your health, and they're going to help you feel fuller for longer as well. So making sure that at least half of your grains are whole grain is going to be really beneficial because they're going to have B vitamins and like I said, the fiber, and just your overall health is going to feel much, much better. Okay. So quickly going to recap: 2 to 3 servings of fruit a day, 4 to 5 servings of veggies a day, protein at every meal, make half of your grains whole grain, incorporate more healthy fats than less healthy fats. So more liquid at room temperature, rather than saturated fats or solid at room temperature, and making sure that you're drinking at least half your body weight in water. Those 6 different nutrition components are going to have you feeling your absolute best. So I challenge you to start this checklist. I will leave the PDF in the show notes. If you have any questions for me, do not hesitate to message me on Instagram at tips_with_Tony with an I, or email me tipswithtony@gmail.com. Let me know kind of what your takeaways are, what your thoughts are. Your individual needs might be a little bit different, but this is a good general place to start. So start with this. If you want more specifics, you can definitely message me. I don't know how helpful I'll be able to do with you if you're not a client of mine. But I'd be more than happy to kind of look into it and see if there's maybe some tweaks or things that we might change your specific daily goal to. That is it for me today. Thank you so much for listening. If you have not already subscribed to the Tips with Tony podcast, definitely hit that subscribe button. A new episode comes out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And when you're subscribed, you don't miss a beat. As always, this is Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.